Welcome to the City of Joliet City Council meeting for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. The Honorable Mayor Terry Darcy presiding. Tonight, the invocation will be given by Father William Dewan of Cathedral of St. Raymond Catholic Church, located at 604 North Rainer Avenue, after which Father Dewan will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Thank you.
Dear wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself and for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be able to be involved in useful work, the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you for loving us from your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures, you have said that the citizens ought to respect governing authorities, that you have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, this night we pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. We are asking that you graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confident in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony, even when there's honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives, and joy in their tasks. We pray for the agenda set before them, give them the assurance of that they would please you and would benefit those who live and work around our city of Joliet. It's in your most blessed name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Can we get that mic check? I didn't think it was on.
It was just soft? Okay.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Darcy.
Here.
Councilman Cardenas.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
Under Mayor, we have a proclamation declaring October 24th, 2023 as United Nations Day, and immediately followed by a proclamation for the Zonta Club of Joliet area 50th anniversary.
Would you want to do that ahead? Oh, if you'd like to. Yeah, that's all right. A proclamation. Whereas the world comes to seek the road of peace and international cooperation through the United Nations, whereas the United Nations is a unique organization of independent countries that have voluntarily joined together to work for world peace and economic and social progress, and is the foremost organization in the world working for women's rights and the advancement of women. Whereas the United States support and leadership in the United Nations is essential to successfully achieving the goals and objectives of the world's organizations. Whereas all citizens of the United States and throughout the world are encouraged to observe the birthday of the United Nations on October 24th, 2023. Now, therefore, I, Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, do proclaim October 24th, 2023 as United Nations Day in the City of Joliet, Illinois, in recognition of the commitment of the United Nations, Zonta International, and the Zonta Club of Joliet to the achievement of the status of women internationally, nationally, and in the Joliet area. Today, October 17th, 2023, signed by Terry Darcy, Mayor of Joliet.
Thank you. I just have a couple of words to say from the Zonta Club. As was mentioned, the UN Day is coming. I think more and more we need the UN these days throughout the world. A week from today will be October 24th. That will be it. Why are we as Zonta members here so interested in the UN Day? It's because all of our international activities are in partnership with UN agencies throughout the world. The theme for this year for the UN is equality, freedom, and justice for all, something to think about. Our Zonta Club, as you know, has a lot of activities locally. We have Take Back the Night, we have advocacy, etc. But we also work with partnering with the UN in international service projects. Just very quickly, we work in Peru, in Madagascar, in Papua New Guinea, having to do with health, education, and projects that try to decrease the amount of violence against women. We also have a project ending child marriage in 12 countries throughout the world. This is not our little club doing it. It is a huge group of women, and perhaps our president will tell you more about that in a minute, but we do work in 62 countries. And lastly, our club, our little club, works specifically with women in Afghanistan in some issues having to do with education in which there are secret schools. We've been working with them, an organization there, for a number of years. So in conclusion, please remember the UN Day. We have to remember that in conflict situations, they are dealing with water and sanitation issues, nutrition, as we hear so very frequently these days. WHO, the World Health Organization, is working. We also had World Food Program working, and along the Israel-Lebanese border, there are right now 10,000 UN peacekeeping forces. So it's something to keep in mind, and thank you very much for recognizing UN Day.
Congratulations. All right, our next proclamation. Whereas half a century ago, 25 women, all professionals in the Joliet area, gathered together to form a local club of Zonta International. And whereas these 25 women came together to advance the status of women and girls locally and internationally, the Zonta Club of Joliet area was officially chartered on October 25th, 1973. And whereas the club made an impact in the communities in which it served and membership grew, today the club serves the same vision as those visionary women who first decided that this community needed the club to be a place where women make a positive impact. They continue to do so in the form of scholarships provided locally and funding provided through the Club of Zonta International to help projects which better the circumstances of women and girls globally via education, community projects, and projects that positively impact the health of women and girls. And whereas the club is fortunate to have two of their founding members, Carmela Castagna and Dr. Patricia Miller, still serving, still providing their wisdom, and still inspiring the members of the club as it continues its important work in the area. Now, therefore, I, Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet Council, do hereby recognize Carmela Castagna and Dr. Patricia Miller for their 50 years of service and the vision of all the founding members of the Zonta Club of the Joliet area, and wish the Zonta Club of the Joliet area success as they move into their next 50 years. Dated October 17th, 2023, signed by the Honorable Terry Darcy, Mayor of Joliet.
Fantastic. I just want to thank you, Mayor Darcy and City Council, for the proclamation for our 50th anniversary, as well as the proclamation for UN. As you know, and you've heard a lot about Zonta, we're about empowering women and girls. My name is Bonnie Winfrey. I happen to be president this year, and we're having a grand celebration. And I want you all to come out October 19th, which is Thursday and celebrate with us. We're going to have a good time. There's not really too many clubs where you hear about where you have charter members that you can celebrate. Well, that's happening with Zonta. We're going to have great entertainment, and we're going to be talking about some of the great stories involving Zonta. There's a list of services that we provide to the community. You'll hear more about that. And the only thing that's missing is you, and we want you all to be a part of it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have a proclamation recognizing Zeta Phi Beta Sorority 50th anniversary.
Is there anyone here to accept this? Come on down. Should have worn my blue tonight. Okay. All right. Everybody around? All right. Great. Come on, going to get around. I can see you on TV. Come on. Okay, here's your proclamation. Whereas Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated is an international service organization of college-educated women founded January 16, 1920 on the Howard University campus in Washington, D.C. Whereas the Eta Chi Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was chartered in the fall of 1973 in Joliet, Illinois by Rodell McFadden, Lee Ivory Lee, Bernice Johnson, Janice Wood, Priscilla Thompson, Dorothy Gee, Catherine Rance, Geraldine Knight, and Maddie Hargrove. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Eta Chi Zeta Chapter is a community conscience action-oriented organization, and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Eta Chi Zeta Chapter's cornerstones of service and sisterhood continue to strengthen communities throughout the Joliet community. Though the chapter's commitment to community service, scholarship, the advocacy of social change, and equality for all mankind. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Eta Chi Zeta Chapter, has had a significant and consistent impact in the Joliet community for 50 years, partnering with various nonprofit organizations to donate supplies, food, money, and to clean up local highways, service our elder population, prepare meals, and donate school supplies to local schools. Whereas the city of Joliet joins Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Eta Chi Zeta Chapter, it's a mouthful, you know, in celebrating 50 years of scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. Now, therefore, I, Terry Darcy, the mayor of the city of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, congratulate Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Eta Chi Zeta Chapter in this year's celebration of its 50th anniversary and to honor their community contributions. Congratulations, and it's signed by Mayor Terry Darcy.
Thank you so much. I am Jeanette Bishop. I am the president of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Eta Chi Zeta Chapter. And on behalf of our board of directors, our executive board, Mayor Darcy, thank you so much for this esteemed honor. We appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Do you want a picture?
Yes.
Roll right off your tongue.
She was almost like the space on the commercials. That was really quick.
Hi, congratulations. Hey, hey, friend. Thank you, congratulations.
We have a club baby.
Did you hear her roll it up? That's what I said. Wow. I was like, whoa.
Next, we have a proclamation honoring Mary Martha Thompson's 105th birthday.
So we have her niece here, and we also have Dr. Glenda Wright McCollum. Okay. Whereas Mary Martha Thompson was born October 9th, 1918 at the Pinnock Family Homestead in Braidwood, Illinois. She is the sixth of 10 children. Mary graduated from Reed Custer High School in 1937 and has been employed in positions in Wilmington, Elwood, and Joliet. Anne grew up in Braidwood, Lockport, and the Joliet communities. And whereas Mary Martha Thompson is described as one with a quiet spirit, known for her dedication and love for church work, she has held church membership in the First Baptist Church of Braidwood, the early Shiloh Baptist Church in Lockport, Mount Moriah Baptist of Church of Joliet, St. John Baptist Church of Joliet. Prior to his passing, Mother Mary previously served under the pastorate of her brother, Reverend Theodore H. Pinnock, at Mount Ebal Church in Lockport, Illinois. She continues to be an active member at Mount Ebal Missionary Baptist Church under the pastorate of Pastor Cornell Irvins. She has served as an usher, choir member, youth choir assistant, deaconess, and an active member of the Mother's Board. And whereas Mary Martha Thompson is widowed twice after 31 years of marriage to Frank McNair and 20 years of marriage to the late Reverend Odell Thompson. And whereas blessed in her longevity, Mary Martha Thompson's life is full of love for her children, the late minister Richard Thompson and Tracy Thompson Lyles. Her 105-year legacy is extended to her 5 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, as well as her extended family, nieces, nephews, cousins, and many friends. Whereas we are gratefully honored to witness the longevity of life, exuding such a humble legend. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Terry Darcy, City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the City of Joliet, congratulate Mary Martha Thompson on her 105th birthday, signed October 17th, 2023 by the Honorable Terry Darcy, Mayor. Thank you so much. And I want to schedule an appointment because I have a gift for you. Congratulations.
We just want to thank Mayor Darcy and the City Council. Thank you for the beautiful, beautiful flowers and the endearing message that came along with those flowers. They were so beautiful. We had a fabulous celebration on October 9th at Joshua Arms. Miss Mary came to us about a year or so ago when she could no longer live on her own independently. And so Joshua Arms offers 2 programs, one that's independent living, senior living, and one that's through the Oak Supported Living program. And in that program, individuals are able to come and they are able to still reside in their own
spacious apartment with the assistance of medication monitoring and things like that. And so we are just so grateful to have her in our community. She is such a bright spot in the community, and we just thank you so much for this proclamation. Thank you, Jan, for showing up on October 9th and reading the proclamation that was not official until today, but we're so thankful and so grateful. Thank you so much.
I had a good time.
Yes,
I stayed 2
yes,
hours.
Yes. Did you want to say that?
I just want to say thank you to everyone. We've been blessed to have Aunt Martha with us, and now we're also blessed to share her with the whole city.
Thank you all so much.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Oh.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. First, we have Walter Adamic and Don Gould.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I think we covered this case pretty well last night at your pre-council meeting, but Mr. Adamic and myself are here should anyone have any additional questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Stephanie Cullum.
My name is Stephanie Collum. I'm the owner and director of EduCare Learning Center here in Joliet. One of my main job responsibilities is ensuring the safety and well-being of all children in my care on a daily basis. I spoke on this issue back in June at the City Council meeting, and my stance has not wavered. I feel that granting this special use permit for a drive-through at this location compromises the safety of the children at my center, the safety of the children and the residents in the local neighborhood, the safety of our neighboring business on Teehickey, as well as the commuters that will travel through the intersection of Essington and Teehickey on a daily basis. Last week, I did email a letter to every member of the City Council, and I'm hopeful that you read it and took to heart the points that were made. I will use one word to sum up said points: safety. In good conscience, can you say that granting this special use permit will not impact the safety of the children at my center at EduCare? What about the amount of pollution that the idling cars will emit directly toward our playground and building while the cars are waiting in line? Just a reminder, the developer shows at least 12 cars being in line on their exhibit. It's a known fact that the wind mainly blows west to east. EduCare sits due east of this proposed location. Not only can auto exhaust from idling pollute the air in and around vehicles, it can enter school buildings through air intakes, doors, and open windows. My playground goes along the entire length of this area. My kids play outside on a daily basis. The EPA states that idling vehicles contribute to air pollution and emit air toxins, which are pollutants known or suspected to cause cancer or other serious health effects. Research monitoring at schools, monitoring at public schools during idling times has shown elevated levels of carcinogens as well as other air toxins. This is shown to contribute to a wide range of health problems, which can include, but not limited to, onset of childhood asthma, triggering of asthma attacks, impaired lung functioning, carbon monoxide poisoning, and eye and respiratory irritation. Would this be allowed next to a public school? The increased traffic is going to compromise the safety of my families and my children entering our parking lot on a daily basis. Can you say that granting of the special use permit will not impact the safety of the children and families that reside within our subdivision? If I'm reading correctly, at the top left of the exhibit, the AM traffic will be using Teehickey as their primary route, and the secondary traffic will be off of Essington. So if I'm correct, and I've read this correctly, the main thoroughfare to our proposed location that they have is through a residential subdivision. I know for a fact the subdivision has several families with young children that reside within it because the children come to my center. Several buses come through here. Children are going to be impacted getting in and off those buses on a daily basis. How is this increased traffic not going to impact the safety of the children riding bikes and playing outside? Can you say that granting of this permit will not impact the congestion and amount of traffic on T. Hicking and Essington? Was there a traffic study completed? Was the flow analyzed to ensure that there was no negative impact on businesses and residents? I urge you to consider the risks to the safety of the children at Edge Care, in the community, as well as the safety of the daily commuters that travel through. As you know, I'm a business owner here in Joliet, but to the developer, I ask you this: at what point do you personally draw the line between safety and making money? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is David Cullum.
Hey folks, my name's Dave Collum. I'm actually a co-owner of Educare as well and the property owner there at T. Hickey. This is our second go around with this developer. You guys have probably all experienced the Dunkin' Donuts at Starbucks in the morning, right? Not exactly a calm occurrence, right? A lot of people rushing, coming and going, a lot of traffic, backups with the drive-through line. A lot of times will bleed out into the road. If you look, there's not a lot of cars in this lot before the traffic actually starts to bleed out into the road. 100 feet away, we have parents dropping kids off, right? 2 to 5 year old kids, right? These aren't even school age kids yet. Where their parents are walking them from their car to our building. In addition, there is a bus stop on this block, right? For the school age kids for the public school. So parents are walking kids to that stop in the morning. With a right in and a right out, this traffic is actually gonna force people to come in off of Essington and then turn around in the subdivision and then come back, which is probably just gonna exacerbate the issue because they're gonna be in a hurry. So as my wife had previously said, I think the concern of the safety of the kids is the biggest issue we have. I don't think that in this location, a Starbucks drive-through works, right? And we're not anti-development, but just, it doesn't work. It's too tight. The traffic's gonna overflow. There's not an entrance right there off of Essington. If you look on the plan, it's actually quite a ways down. Most people are not even gonna see that. I've looked several times now. Even with the signage, I'm not sure you could even see it with the trees that are there. But people will come in the other direction on Essington, will turn right, then they can't get in left, because it's a right only, so they'll have to turn around. We have a concern for the safety and the traffic, but we also have a concern with, as you mentioned, emissions. Those cars are gonna be idling for probably 2 hours, rush hour every morning, 10 cars. It's gonna be, one leaves, another one goes in. So there's just cars sitting there idling. And that backs on right into our playground. It's not the playground on the other side, it literally backs up right into our playground. So those kids that are out there on the playground are just gonna be inhaling those emissions. We did talk to DCFS, who we were licensed by, and they basically said that if it was in reverse, the Starbucks was already there with the drive-through, they would not let us build our school there because of the traffic of the drive-through and the emissions. So the school's been there for, I believe, almost 30 years now. We've been the owner for 12. We have second generation kids now coming to the school. It's a great neighborhood. We have families that are in the neighborhood that walk their kids, especially when the weather's nice. In the summer, will walk their kids to our school. And we believe the traffic from this drive-through is just gonna make that unsafe. So we are opposed to this, and I think you'll hear from some of our families. You probably have gotten some emails from families whose kids go to our school, but also families that live in a neighborhood whose kids may not go to our school. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kiana Jackson.
Hello, good evening. I'm Kiana Jackson. I'm one of the mothers of one of the children who attend Educare. I just want to say, when we think of daycares, we think of a place where children will be safe, whether kids are playing indoors or outdoors. Stephanie Collum, owner and director of Educare Daycare, provides a wonderful school for children to learn and play. She provides enrichment curriculum and programs that utilizes outdoor spaces as well. The grounds of Educare Daycare is not only beautiful, but provides a safe haven for our children. My son and many children adore this school and would hate to leave our children somewhere where the outdoor safety would be compromised. The possible risks are as follows. As Stephanie stated earlier, and her husband co-owner, the nearby fender benders could be a possibility that would be directly next to the playground. The playground is gorgeous and very safe, and we would hate to leave our kids somewhere where the drive-through would be very close to it. Cars closely traveling near and the front sides of the daycare, possible, horrible traffic, pollutions, as we stated earlier, and just possible ongoing traffic that just will be very congested. So I just ask to please consider the risk of the permit for the drive-through for our children. Please think about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Sean Miller.
Good evening, folks. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm sure some of you have read the email that I sent. So I have 5 children at home. None of them go to Educare. They all go to public schools, anywhere from high school down to elementary school. My concern is that, so there's 3 bus routes that actually are right within where all my kids get on the bus. One is at the corner of Thomas Hickey and Cala, which is right where people will be going to the Starbucks at. The high school kids get picked up on Del Rose and Thomas Hickey. Now, I walk my dog in the neighborhood and people absolutely fly down Del Rose as it is. I just think with added traffic from Starbucks that it's not going to be a good fit. And then the elementary kids' school bus picks them up right on Cala and Alamo. And it's anywhere from 6:15, I believe, the high schoolers get on the bus, to 8:40, the elementary school kids get on the bus. And the middle school is around 7. So you're gonna have kids out and about from basically 6:30 in the morning till almost 9 in the morning, which is, right when everybody's gonna be going to Starbucks. What was mentioned before with the right turn in and the right turn out only, people are either going to be driving through the subdivision, like was said, or they're going to be coming in to do a U-turn to get in. It's just, I think it's unneeded traffic in that area, especially when the kids are trying to go to school. There's going to be a line of cars waiting just to turn out, and then the buses are going to be late. And now they're going to have to try to find a different route. I just think it's not a good fit for our neighborhood. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council on an agenda item? Seeing none, we have council committee reports, diversity and community relations.
Again, the Diversity and Community Relations Committee met earlier today here in the council chambers at 4 o'clock. We had a very brief agenda, just one item. Michelle Stiff from District 204, the high school board, came to speak to us regarding concerns about the increase in the number of students that have been vaping during school hours, not just nicotine, but also vaping THC. Has been a growing sort of disciplinary issue with the high schools. And so earlier this year, just a few months ago, there was in conjunction with Joliet Police, a sting operation on some of the smoke shops, which had been identified as the ones who were selling these products to the high school students. Some of the issues that arise with that is that the manufacturers are deliberately targeting a younger audience by packaging and manufacturing the devices that in the forms of highlighters or pens or other school supplies so that they can be inconspicuous, so that the students can bring them into the schools and sort of sneak past the security measures. So a number of those shops were penalized. Few more that were on the list of that operation sort of understood what was happening and shut down operations on their own. This is just the start of what is hopefully going to be a longer operation we'll be working with the high school board in getting quarterly updates to see just how effective the strategy is in curbing vaping use. Councilman Clement, you had mentioned an existing program, if you'd like to touch on that.
Yeah, Chief Evans, I know in the past, we did the cigarette details. Back when I was a police officer, we ran it out of investigations. Is that still in existence? Are we still getting that?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so can we reach out to the school and maybe we can help them out? You know, maybe from time to time, help them out and see if we can help curb this issue that they're having at the school with the vaping, and they're gonna give us like quarterly reports to see if it has drastically reduced with the help of law enforcement. Yes. So, thank you.
So this is, as I said, the start of a longer initiative. We'll be monitoring this issue as time goes on and adapting that strategy and trying to curb this problem as much as we can. We also had a member of the public come and speak to us, Mr. Bill Leach, with his organization Play for Rings, which is providing after-school opportunities for students in basketball training, as well as life skills and sort of skill development. Encourage him to continue to participate with our CDBG program. That's exactly the sort of thing that CDBG funds are intended for. So we'll be in communication with that also. Councilman Barres, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just that the school board wanted to thank Mayor Darcy for taking action on this. When it was brought to his attention, he literally took action immediately. So they wanted him to know how much they appreciated that very quick action, tough on what was happening. So, thank you.
Anything else? And that would be my report.
Thank you.
Finance?
The Finance Committee met this evening at 5:30 here in the chamber. On the committee is Councilwoman Quillman, as well as Councilman Hug. We had a full, full agenda. September marked 75% of the year has been completed. Revenues overall are running strong. Sales tax have been growing positively every month. Expenses have moved from last year. We're only $2 million ahead, which is primary staffing costs that have come on board this year that were not there before. The sewer and water operation is well underway. Revenues and expenses are trending according to budget. Parking operation is down 8,000, but expenses are down 160,000 from 2022, showing a year-end profit of $48,000. Operating year projections, increased revenue is likely in the general fund. Sewer and water projected will be within the budget, and parking is expected to do better than was budgeted for. Library report, the remaining $600,000 of the grant is on the desk of the DCEO directors, waiting for final approval. The library had one major exhibition this year. A famous Mexican artist, Frida Kahlo, I think is how you say it, which brought in a great deal of Hispanic visitors to the library. Total circulation, that is items checked out, was up 3%. The city center service area levy was approved, which is 95 cents per 100 of EAV. Another levy was approved for Park Hill subdivision. Had a cost of about $8,000, expenses around $6,000. The remaining money is saved for the rehabilitation of the pond in the Park Hill subdivision. The general obligation bond that covers the library remodel, purchase of city vehicles, and the Rock Run Crossing TIF district was also moved to the full city council. The other change was a motion of understanding with the Tri-County Task Force, which is for auto theft. They have made a change in their management operation that we've moved from being the lead on this to them being their own generator of the movement up from current members serving of an intern type position and then moving up the ranks on that. The Rialto funding has been changed to a grant. The grant for 2024 is proposed in the budget for $475,000. There's also been restrictions put on it that all monies need to be spent on improvements of the building. The Rialto intends to use this grant funds for the roof, restrooms, and HVAC improvements. If they cannot prove that the money was spent on it, they then would refund it back to the city. Jan, Larry, want to add anything?
I would just clarify, if you don't mind, Pat.
Go right ahead.
You mentioned the bonds, the three bonds they talked about, that we abated the payment of the bonds because they're already paid through MFT and by the library. So that means that no additional taxes need to be levied for that. I just wanted to clarify that for the people out there. Thank you.
Perfect.
All good.
That'll be my report.
Thank you.
Land use and legislative.
Okay, Land Use and Legislative met in council chambers October 12th at 4:30. Present was Councilman Guerrero, myself, and Councilman Reardon was out of town, so she was not here with us. We had two items on the agenda, and one was the property is the Cassidy House, and just to give you a brief synopsis, if people don't know, it's the one I'm always asking about, what are we doing with it? It's the house that was moved by Thornton's gas station so that they could have that prime corner for their business. Anyway, the Will County Historical Society owns the house and the city owns the land that sits on. So after taking ownership of the house, the Historical Society was unable to fulfill the vision of operating a museum. So the city was contacted by Luther Johnson, and he would like to make this home, remodel it and make it a African-American museum. And he needs to apply for a 5013C, but he can't get that to raise funds until we approve the lease of the property. So these African-American contributions to this museum would be military conflicts in the U.S. history, and they're looking for a permanent home to put their operation. So this would be a perfect place for this. So we recommended that the new lease for the land is identical to our original lease with the Historical Society, and we voted to approve this so that they can start fundraising to get this in operation. And Mr. Johnson, we did quite a few questioning, and he very reputable, and he has a history of helping with museum. So he hopes to have the grand opening on June of 2024. So we voted to move this to the council for approval. That'll be on November 7th for the lease. The second item was the ordinance regarding fighting. School resource officers deal with violence, as was said at the diversity committee. So right now, if an officer chooses to take enforcement action, citing someone for battery or disorderly contact, that's the only options that they have. So they want a simplified ordinance that prohibits any fighting in a public place that is a more effective tool. So we have an ordinance that we copied from the Plainfield School District, and we move to approve that. So the council will be voting on that again on November 7th. And that concludes our report. Anything else, James?
I would just add, so I had raised the question to Chris Regis while he was here. This ordinance, because it is a municipal ordinance and not a criminal offense, you know, these high school students, if they are caught fighting, will not enter into the criminal system as a result. That was a concern of mine. We don't want to set, 16 and 17-year-old kids down a pathway of being labeled criminals for life because of a, mistake in their youth. So it is, I think, will be an effective way to curb the fighting, and also isn't going to permanently damage their lives. So.
That's it. That concludes our report. Thank you.
Jan, can I jump in a second?
Sure.
Would that just be a compliance ticket then? They get a ticket and then discipline at school, or?
I believe it was up to $500 fine.
Yeah, it'd be a fine, but it wouldn't go on their record. And Chris isn't here to elaborate on it. It was very simple.
One alternative too, that, I'm sorry to interrupt, which we used down in Bloomington was because a lot of times high school kids may not have cash. We adopted an ordinance that permitted the fine to be worked off through community service. Obviously, there requires some sort of interaction with people that are willing to take kids like that, and they would have to put in so many hours, work off the equivalent of that fine. But that's an alternative that the council could consider.
Thank you.
Yeah, always subject to change. So we'll get a copy of that ordinance to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have it. I thought I had it. I don't have it.
Public service?
Public Service Committee met here at City Hall in the council chambers yesterday, Monday, at 4:30. On the committee, in addition to myself, is Councilman Mudrid and Councilman Guerrero. Our agenda was brief. We had no contracts to review, so we didn't spend any money. We are heading towards the end of the construction season in the next month and a half, and we're doing pretty good, right, Greg? On our contracts with streets and sidewalks and everything.
Yes, we are moving along.
Anything that we don't finish will be finished in next year when the weather breaks.
That's correct.
Okay. With that said, we had 3 items on the change orders, pay estimates, and final payments heading. One was a change order for the amount of $14,316 for additional sidewalk and curb replacement for Fire Station 6. Their apron coming out of there was in pretty sad shape. And so it's coming out of the fire department's own capital fund. They're paying their own way, right, Chief? Yes. We had another one, which was an increase of $489,620 for further resurfacing and repaving as related to the Caton Farm Water Main Improvements Project. And that is being done by P.T. Farrow. So we looked through that. And we had a change order for the 2023 pavement marking program to Superior Road Striping for an additional $7,570. And then a final payment for the 2023 striping and pavement markings for $49,160. We looked at all 3 items, and all 3 were in order. And under ordinance and resolutions, we have a resolution approving an easement agreement with ComEd at the cost of $3,000. That's their fee they charge, so that we can get on their property to do our street widenings and so forth. So we looked over that agreement, which is pretty routine, as well as a resolution approving motor fuel tax funds for the 2023 pavement marking program. That's a bit of housekeeping. Once you approve the change order on the markings, then you have to approve to pay for it with the motor fuel tax, MFT tax. So all those items, all 5 of those items were found to be in order and unanimously sent forward with committee recommendation to this council to approve all the items. Did I miss anything, gentlemen?
I believe that's it.
That would be my report, Mayor. Thank you.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It is recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on October 2nd, 2023, and the minutes of the council meeting held on October 3rd, 2023 stand approved as recorded. Invoices to be paid. It is recommended this report be approved. 2024 Joliet City Council meeting schedule. It is recommended the proposed 2024 meeting schedule be approved. Council Memo 525-23, award a contract to DTS for ViewWorks Asset Management Software Support and Hosting in the amount of $70,000. Council Memo 526-23, Professional Services Agreement for the Downtown Levee, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Section 205, improvements to Santa Cruz land acquisitions in the amount not to exceed $52,250. Council Memo 527-23, Professional Services Agreement for the Downtown Levee, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Section 205, improvements to HBK Engineering, formerly Rempe Sharp, in the amount not to exceed $84,312. Council Memo 528-23, professional services agreement for the downtown levee, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Section 205 improvements to True North Consultants in the amount not to exceed $35,600. Council Memo 529-23, professional services agreement for the Bluff Street Sanitary Interceptor Rehabilitation Design to RJN Group, Inc. in the amount of $63,300. Council Memo 530-23, professional services contract for GPS AVL services to Skyhawk Telematics in the amount of $84,184.40. Council Memo 531-23, amendment number 1 for construction testing, soil boring services for the 2024 Water Main Rehabilitation Program to Seco Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $51,688. Council Memo 532-23, change order number 1 for the Charity Avenue, Helen Avenue roadway project to PT Farrow Construction Company in the amount of negative $25,052.72, and payment estimate number 3 and final in the amount of $20,832.32. Council Memo 533-23, request to upfit police squads by Federal Signal Corporation in the amount of $42,050. It is recommended Council Memos 525-23 through 533-23 be approved. Is there a motion to approve all said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under agenda item, we have Council Memo 535-23, award of a 3-year contract to CDW for Microsoft Enterprise licensing in the amount of $1,165,668.39. It is recommended Council Memo 535-23 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Next is Council Memo 536-23, award of contract to AVDG for City Council Chambers audio-visual upgrade project in the amount of $304,158.28. It is recommended Council Memo 536-23 be tabled to the November 7th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 536-23 to the November 7th council meeting. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, under licenses and permits application, Council Memo 538-23, application for a drive-through permit for Starbucks Restaurant at 1900 Essington Road. Staff is recommending the drive-through permit be approved.
So moved.
Is there a second? No second, so that motion fails.
I would make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to deny. Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
No.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
So the motion carried to deny Council Memo 538-23 for the application for a drive-through permit for the Starbucks restaurant at 1900 Essington Road. Next is a public hearing. We have a public hearing for the annual property tax levy. This is a public hearing, so comments are in order at this time. Is there anyone that would like to speak on for the public hearing for the annual property tax levy? Seeing none, let the record show that the public hearing is now closed. And we have Council Memo 541-23, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2023 and ending December 31, 2023, and in and for the Joliet Public Library, Will and Kendall counties. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Quick question, and it's more out of curiosity. Now, this is the Joliet Public Library, correct? Does it go out through Troy, I'm thinking, all the way to the Kendall County, into Kendall County? Because in my district, we belong to, further past 55 to the Plainfield Library. Does it go all the way to Kendall County? Is that stated correctly?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm curious. I want to make sure. I mean, it would have to be through Troy Township, I'm thinking. I'd
have to look at the map specifically to
Yeah, from my
answer, but yes, I believe it does cover part of Kendall County, but I can't tell you at the moment without opening the map where the line exactly is.
It's the same property value as the city of Joliet, so it's the city limits. Wherever the city's at, the library's within that city limit.
Well, on the far west side, we're not. And there's people that paid 2 bills. On the far west side in District 1, Plainfield Township, they're in the Plainfield Library District. So obviously, they're not gonna get taxed for the Joliet Library
I'll
District.
have to look into that, because the values that I pulled from the county is the same value district as the city.
Kevin, there was millions of dollars that were negotiated back almost 25 years ago, because out there, that mistake was made once, so make sure.
I'll look into it, yeah.
Yes, and what happened is those people paid 2 library taxes, one in Joliet at the time. After our 10 years of doing that, the city negotiated and realized, no, it's not the city of Joliet, or not, I'm sorry, the Joliet Library, it's the Plainfield Library, and these folks were refunded periodically over the years. So make sure that we're not, double taxing the Plainfield Library District people, which is generally anything west of I-55 in Plainfield Township.
All right, well, I'll double check.
All right, with that clarification, I vote aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, we have Council Memo 542-23, ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2023, in and for the city of Joliet, Will, and Kendall counties. It is recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mayor, may I ask Kevin for a second to clarify? So remember yesterday you sent us all an email?
Yes.
And again, it's not our responsibility, but there were so many people that were confused and freaking out about the Will County, levy. So if you can clarify, like you did very well in the email.
Yeah, the county had a finance committee meeting on, I think it was October 11th. In that meeting, they talked about their estimated levy. their estimated levy looked at an increase in value from new property and such as, I think it was 5.6%. But they state their rate as a percentage. So, you know, their rate is, I think it was going to 50-some cents per hundred of assessed value. So it was presented as 0.593-some%. So I think people just thought it was going up 500%. But in fact, their rate is going to go down about a penny or two per hundred of assessed value.
Yeah, I think people confuse it with $590 as opposed to 5.9%.
Yeah.
But it was a real concern that I kind of saw out there, so I thought maybe we can clarify that, and I thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Next is a public hearing for the 2024 annual budget. Again, this is a public hearing, so comments are in order at this time. Is there anyone that would like to speak on the 2024 budget? Seeing none, let the record show the public hearing is now closed. We are only doing the public hearing. There's no other business with that. Under ordinances and resolutions, under ordinances, we have Council Memo 545-23, ordinance approving a variation of use to allow the continuation of a 3-unit residential in a R3, 1 and 2 family residential zoning district located at 901 Summit Street. It is recommended that ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
No.
And then we have Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 546-23, ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a 2-unit residence in a R2 single-family residential zoning district located at 501 4th Avenue. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Discussion?
Sure.
Can I have a discussion?
Sure, go ahead.
Can we bring the owner forward? Hi, thank you for being here. I just want to tell you that I got so many calls and emails about this.
Okay.
And their concerns were that it's a very quiet neighborhood and they don't have very much trouble right there. There's a lot of people, you know, seniors in that
Sure,
area.
I understand.
That, it wouldn't be disruptive, like loud parties and, that they would be, you'd put someone in there that would fit into the neighborhood, like quiet and
Yeah,
not
of course.
any trouble. So I'm sure as an owner, you have rules for people that are
Yes.
in there. And so with that being said, the neighbors are happy that it's gonna be something, cause it's just been
Right.
an empty building for all this time. And, I just wanted to make sure, like, we're clear that if there is an issue at this place, I'm gonna be getting a call no matter what time, day or night.
Yeah,
So we
I
need to
understand.
exchange numbers, cause we're gonna have to hold your feet to the
Yeah.
fire if anything happens, and we can expect you to be a good partner and work with us if there's issues there.
Yes, of course. I even gave my number to the lady that was here yesterday. I said if she has any concerns, she's
Okay.
welcome to call me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Question, did you get the report that you wanted? You
Yeah,
asked
there
for?
would, he didn't have any other complaints on the other
No.
properties that he owned. There was no complaints at all, so,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
thank you.
That is correct. There was nothing else found, and Neighborhood Services did indicate that they have no issue with any of his property and had no issue with the proposed use.
I'll make a motion to approve,
Oh,
unless there's
second.
any other questions.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
No.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 547-23, ordinance approving a special use permit to allow sales of new and used trucks and associated equipment located at 3350 Shanahan Road. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
And Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 548-23, ordinances and resolution associated with the planned unit development of Rock Run Collection Subdivision, which includes an ordinance approving a preliminary planned unit development of Rock Run Collection Subdivision, ordinance approving a final planned unit development of Rock Run Collection Subdivision, resolution approving an amendment to a development agreement for planned unit development of Rock Run Collection Subdivision. The petitioner requested this item be tabled to the November 7th, 2023 council meeting. Is there a motion and seconded to table this item?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to table the Council Memo 548-23 to the November 7th, 2023 council meeting. Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 549-23, ordinance amending the 2023 annual budget for the city council chambers upgrade project. It is recommended this item also be tabled to the November 7th council meeting.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 549-23 to the November 7th, 2023 council meeting. Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 552-23, resolution approving an easement agreement with Commonwealth Edison Company for the Caton Farm Water Main Improvements Project in the amount of $3,000. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Navarro,
Aye.
Yeah.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager.
Excuse me, Mayor Darcy?
Yeah, I think we missed one.
Yeah, go ahead.
551.
551-23.
Did I say, did I,
Missed it.
Declaring city property surplus.
oh, I'm sorry.
Your river, jump.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Keeping our.
Oh, Pauline, you're fine. We've all made mistakes.
552 is, that was the one? So
551.
552.
551.
Yep, I'm sorry. So 551-23, a resolution declaring certain City of Joliet property as surplus. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second. Thought you just wanted to keep all that stuff.
I didn't even look at the list. Maybe I should have looked at the list. It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro,
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
And now we'd have the city manager report.
Great, thank you. Just a few items. First, just a recap. I know we met in our last meeting, had a presentation from our downtown parking study consultants, and you got the summary of that. I do want to move forward with further discussion on that, so I'll be bringing that to committee review and then back to council workshop here with the intent that we can get feedback from council before the end of the year and proceeding with any of the recommendations that were in that study. Just a couple of informational items. I think you all received, if you didn't, let me know and I'll get you copies, an invitation to Joliet Township High School's 11th Annual Veterans Ceremony on Thursday, November 9th at 2:20 p.m. at the Joliet Central Auditorium. And then I wanted to, again, make you aware that Will County Department of Transportation is opening essentially an open hearing session for comments on Mills and Cherry Hill Road area. They're not presenting plans yet, but just starting kind of the open study session. There's an open house tomorrow from 4 to 7 at the Noel Park Recreation Center, and then they will have a website open through November 18th for any public comment if you'd like to look at that project or make comment on that, and that's for the public as well. And then lastly, yesterday Councilman Guerrero, I think when we were talking about the ViewWorks licensing, asked for some update on the Citizen View results, so appreciate our IT Director Chris Sternal pulling that, but we have the data for the last 2 years. So in 2022, we had 1,977 requests that were filed by Citizen View. As of today, in 2023, we have 1,860. So if we kind of project out what the trends look like, we're probably going to be somewhere in the 2,100 to 2,200 range, so about a 10% increase from last year. So we're making some progress and getting more traction with that. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you.
Next is public comments. We have Beth Corsetti.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Beth Corsetti. I'm a nurse at Ascension St. Joseph Joliet. I saw a lot of you guys on the picket line, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for showing us support. But I'm here tonight because we have a very pressing issue at the hospital right now. We're in a crisis. It's catastrophic at this point. I'm coming here because I'm really worried about my community. This is my home, as you guys know. I've told you plenty of times. But we find ourselves in an impossible situation. We're losing more and more nurses every single day. They're quitting, they're not being replaced, and Ascension is essentially denying that we're even in a crisis. There was an open session that we went to that had our CEO, Christopher Schride, and our CNO, Margaret Carroll, and they stated to us that we are safely staffed in our hospital. The only way I can think to put it plainly is that we are, imagine that you have a family of 6. One member of your family is drowning. 3 are treading water, and they're getting tired. 2 cannot get off the sinking boat by themselves, they need help. Who are you gonna get for? Who are you gonna be able to save? Who are you gonna get to first? That's the situation we face every single day at St. Joe's. We are down from over 800 nurses down to 500 something at this point. We're losing nurses by the day. The wait times in the ER are going, they're going to 2 days. They're waiting in the ER. People are having heart attacks in our ER, and they're not getting placed in beds in ICU. They're not going where they need to go. I know that you all are limited on what your abilities are able to do. I'm not asking for anything. You know, I don't expect anything with contract negotiations. That's our battle. But what I'm putting to you forward today is that we need something, anything that you guys can do to help push, maybe push Ascension to a crisis mode. If there's any way that you guys are able to publicly, you know, come out and say, like, this is our community and people are getting hurt, people are dying, we have the highest fall rate in the state. I'm sorry, I'm very upset. We have the highest fall rate in the state, and you know, it comes back on us. And when they're telling us that we're safely staffed and we have all these patients, all they want to do is get patients out the door. They want us to hurry up and get those patients in and out, in and out, in and out, and we just can't. So our community's health is in a very delicate balance right now. It's literally between life and death. Ascension's lack of caring is just, it's unfathomable. I just can't even imagine that our CEO could sit there, and even after the nurses who showed up to this associate forum could actually say, we are safely staffed, when we are telling him that we're not. We're begging them to help us. Even our CNO, Margaret Carroll, she was sitting there, she wouldn't even look at me. She wouldn't look at any of the nurses because she knows how understaffed we are. We were so short that the floors were holding patients. The floors had, on Sunday, there was 3 nurses on a floor, on some of the floors. We had 32 patients on a floor. 3 nurses, 3 to 4 nurses. I'm just trying to get the point across to you all that if there's anything possible that you can do publicly to push Ascension, to push IDPH, to hold Ascension accountable for the fact that they're constantly breaking the law, they're breaking the Hospital Licensing Act, constantly. Right here is from the month of September, and it's about 150 assignment against, despite objection. These are filled out by our nurses every single day, every single shift. This is from 1 month. And this is only what they could get done. This is only what we can complete. We don't always get to them all. Really quickly, I just want to state that today is the 1-year anniversary of when our ICU nurses, our brave baby ICU nurses, stood up and they said, no, we're not going to take an unsafe assignment. And they refused to clock in. And they got punished. They got suspended because they refused to take unsafe patient assignments. It was on the news. And then about a week after that or so, our ER nurses said, no, we're not going to do this, it's unsafe. They needed about 14 nurses in the ED, and there was only about 4 of them. They refused to clock in, they got suspended. We need to speak out against the safety. We need to feel like we are able to go there and care for our patients. We're losing dedicated nurses every single day. I don't want to leave St. Joe's. It's my home. It's where I belong, taking care of my community. And I know that these nurses here don't either.
Mayor, I have a question for her. Why is IDPH not getting involved? Usually when they come to the hospital, it's like, oh my God, everybody goes into panic mode, getting things prepared. And I've seen all these are even more. So what do they say to you?
IDPH doesn't say anything to me.
Well, then what about Joint Commission?
Joint Commission, they might as well not be non-existent, honestly. But
those are the 2 end-all be-alls for hospitals, and they won't help you guys?
Honestly, when IDPH comes, that's when Ascension comes around, and all of a sudden they can find all this help and make everything all shiny, and go around and nitpick and
well, they need to make a surprise visit.
Yeah, they need to. And I want to be there when they do, because I have plenty to say to them.
Gotcha.
I know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up the time, but I know Pat is
I
a
asked
much
the
better
question.
speaker than I am.
This was my time asking you,
Yeah.
trying to see how we can help. So.
Yes, and you know, I mean, it has been brought up, you know, that if the hospital, if it comes to a point that the hospital cannot take emergencies, what happens? They won't go on bypass, you know, that's not something that they do. It's scary because if somebody's having a heart attack or a stroke and they can't be seen, what happens? Every second, every minute that goes by, there's muscle, there's brain that's being lost. It's just catastrophic. That's the best way I can describe it. But I know Ascension has lobbyists that are going around right now saying that, oh no, we're safely staffed. I mean, you guys all know, you were on the picket line with us, and you know we're not. You know, we're willing to do what it takes, and we're willing to stay there as long as we can, but it's getting to the point, I don't know what's gonna happen to this city if we don't stay. If those of us who are dedicated and willing to stay and fight, I don't know what's gonna happen to St. Joe's and Joliet. It will be, I don't know, it'll dissolve. I don't know.
Sorry.
Just to back up what Beth said, and that is that the IDPH, they all know. They've seen all of these and thousands more. They have somewhat like sanctioned the hospital, said that, you know, found them in violation, you know, told them that they needed to create a plan of repair, fix and repair, and make things doable. And they seem to be just aloof and not really feel that they have to respond to these opportunities that we have provided and found to be valid. They have not responded. We have reached out to everyone in all divisions of government to assist us. And it seems that no one, they're Teflon. They do not care.
When was the last time Joint Commission was there?
It's been a while, but IDPH has been there, right when we were on strike, they were there. But then everybody was tripled. They had 3 nurses where we only have 1. They had 4 nurses where we only have 1. So they didn't see that. But I actually called myself when we came back that day with all of the complaints that we've got and the validated complaints. And I called IDPH and I asked them to come. I need you to make an emergency visit now, right now, today. They told me, well, now you have to call back on Monday, and then you can like repeat this to somebody else, and then we'll see what we can do. No, you need to come today to see the situation as it stands and what was left over for our nurses to try to fix in the time that they were outside. And the egregious things that went on that were somehow just, dusted under the rug. We care about our patients.
When was the last time Joint Commission accredited them? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's been accreditation, I'm not sure. I don't know. But they have not been in the building, John, do you recall when Joint Commission last time they've been in the building? It hasn't been a while. It's been quite a while. IDPH more frequently. They do show up when we call, but it is latent.
So you don't have an updated accreditation by Joint Commission then? Whoa, that's not
I don't
good.
know when that is due. I don't have those dates.
That's
that
really
time
not
frame.
good. Okay,
Thank you for the extra time, and we apologize, but we thank you. This is something that affects us and you and your family as well. Thank you so much for your time.
We thank you for your perseverance and your care and all you're doing to keep our city safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
We'll do what we can do to help you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, because when you showed up to help our nurses go back in, it meant everything to them because they knew that you supported the city support nurses. I cannot thank you enough for that.
Very welcome.
That
Thank you.
optic and that feeling was there, so we appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for the extras.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council?
Hello, Bob Cobb. I wasn't gonna speak, but I thought I'd have to come up here and mention a couple of things. Today, I saw a City of Joliet vehicle parked on the resident in question, and I don't know what became of that, but I will tell you, I just want to make a comment for the record that I've lived here for 30 plus years. I've not had any sort of problems until this started happening. When something happens, like when she got fined a couple of times, after an incident where she was contacted about something, shortly after that, something happened to my property. Whether it be she throw her dog crap in my yard. One day I woke up, or before I went to bed, I let my dog out and I saw a chicken carcass in my yard. So I'm just, for the record, every time something happens where she's gotten contacted about something happens. A couple of days later, something happens, and I won't tolerate it. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if she was home when this person came. I don't know what happened, but I just want to let you know I'm watching her. Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment? Next, we have mayor and council comments.
No comment.
Yeah, yesterday I brought up, comments about the asylum seekers and the issue that we're going through. I mean, for the record, we did not create this issue, right? Initially it came out as the city didn't know anything. Then now we know something. And then now the township knows something. And then what I'm trying to say is, I was talking about an ordinance or a resolution. I don't think I'm hostile or offensive or I've done anything illegal. I'm trying to stand up for the citizens of Joliet and the people that live here. I haven't had one person say, have the asylum seekers come here to Joliet. I haven't had that. People are against this. And what I'm saying, these people are being used as pawns, whether a political pawn or whatever. These people are victims. They are coming here, I believe, on false hopes. They're coming here, and the city of Joliet cannot handle the people coming here. We do not have the resources. I'm not here to be argumentative or causing issues. I'm speaking up for the citizens of Joliet and Americans. I mean, what about the people that are already in line, that are waiting, that have done all this illegal? I say let's follow the federal laws, federal, state, and local laws. I would like to see our corporate council draw up either a resolution or an ordinance that we are not a sanctuary city. Again, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm here to stand up for the citizens here at Joliet. We already have problems here at the city that we cannot handle. You just heard from the nurses. They're down to 500 nurses. What happens when all these people, we have to clothe them, feed them, find lodging. They need medical care. I mean, this is a serious issue that we never created. This is a federal problem, and then other cities saying they're sanctuary cities, they rolled out the red carpet, now they're rolling it back up. They're rolling it back up, sending them out to other jurisdictions. Now it's our problem. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not here to cause issues. I'm just speaking on a lot of the people that do not want to say it. They're saying it. We've all had the hundreds of calls, emails, and text messages. So I'm asking the city manager, the corporate council to do some research, see if there's any other communities out there, either an ordinance or resolution, and kick it down to land use and legislation, or if it if it's voted for it, fine. If it votes down, fine. That's all I have to say on that matter. Secondly, I want to bring up Councilman Mudgeon and myself last week. I don't know if you're going to bring this up, Councilman. We had the opportunity to go to Joliet Catholic High School for an informational about the Invest in Kids Illinois. Dr. Jeffrey Butts was there and Ryan Quigley. I would like Ryan Quigley, if we can invite him, to come and explain what is going on with this Invest in Kids. Basically, Invest in Kids is Illinois enacted the Invest in Kids Scholarship Tax Credit Program in 2017. This gives individuals and businesses a 75% income tax credit. So what happens is then this goes to a scholarship for kids and families that are struggling, kids and families that are in the poverty level. This gives kids a chance to make it, to be able to go to a non-public school and get a great education. And at this point, it is proposed that the state is going to do away with this program. So I would like Ryan Quigley, Mayor, if we can invite him to come and explain it a lot better than I can about what's going on, just more of an informational and what's happening, if we can do that.
Sure.
Thank you.
We can do that. Thank you.
Well, this has been on my mind, as I'm sure it has been for all of us for the last week, 2 weeks. And I've been mulling this over for some time. I don't want to rehash the arguments regarding this grant and the conflict that we've kind of come into with the township. But I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the stress that we've all been under, the stress that the community has expressed, and say that it is valid. People do have reasons to be upset. There are areas in our community that are still lacking in, and those are problems that we do need to address. But I want to take a moment to recognize also that this is the appropriate platform, this is the appropriate venue to have those discussions, to have those disagreements, is here in an open forum, in discussion. What is never appropriate is to take those disagreements to a level of violence. And Councilman Hug, I believe you're going to comment on this also, but it happened closer to your area, to your district. There was quite a tragedy that I'm sure we're all aware of by now that happened over the weekend. In fact, it is 8 o'clock now, so that means that they are beginning a vigil for Wadea Al-Fayoume, who at the tender age of 6 years old lost his life in what has been charged as a hate crime. Now, I want to be very clear that this is not a commentary on U.S. foreign policy, international conflict, international politics, not at all. This is a recognition of a tragedy that happened here locally, and the responsibility that we here at the dais have as community leaders to direct and steer the types of conversations that are happening in our community. And we would be foolish to think that something like this couldn't happen here in Joliet. This was a local tragedy. It happened just up the road, 30 minutes drive from here. And if you don't believe that something like this could happen here in Joliet, I'm here to tell you that it absolutely can, because I have had my life threatened before. My political journey started about 3 years ago in the summer of 2020, and I wasn't there on that fateful Sunday night, but I was there the following Monday when there were a number of protests happening here in the city of Joliet. And I wasn't there to make any demands, under any rallying cry. I really just wanted to know what it was about, to learn more, to see for myself and have a firsthand experience. Very quickly, you become good at identifying which cars are slowing down because they're going to honk in support, and which cars are slowing down to flip you the bird. And I noticed a car that I could tell was going to be a heckler, but something was different about this car. And as he slowed down, he rolled his window down and raised his hand at me, and I realized in that moment that I was not looking back at an obscene gesture, that I was looking down the barrel of a gun. And in that moment, I'd like to tell you that it was a dramatic episode where my life flashed before my eyes, but that's not what happened. In that moment, all I could do was lift my chin, puff my chest, and say, do it. Pull the trigger. I'm not afraid. That moment solidified my resolve to be committed to everything that I have tried to achieve here in the council, and will continue to commit my life to. I'm not afraid of the threats, of the hate messages, the angry comments, the trolling online. None of that bothers me. If anything, all it does is boost my self-esteem, to know that somebody is so bothered that they would take the time of day to write an angry comments about a person that they've never met. What I am not okay with is any act of violence against a member of our community, any threat of an act of violence against a member of our community. And this is happening. This is happening now. The Will Grundy Medical Clinic was forced to evacuate their building because of threats of violence, because of their involvement in this grant. That is unacceptable. That is not okay. I was there at the township meeting when a woman was speaking about the conflict that she was having with her neighbors, and there were calls from the audience to resolve it by measures of gun violence. There were calls from the audience to say, shoot them, and it was met with applause. There are people living in the city of Joliet, living in our community right now at this very moment, who are all too eager, all too willing to act upon their political beliefs with measures of violence, and that is unacceptable. We cannot allow such a tragedy that has just happened in neighboring Plainfield to happen here in Joliet. I would not be able to live with that guilt if I stood silent and allowed such a thing to happen. Again, this is not a commentary on international conflict. This is not the city of Joliet making an official stance. This is a recognition of a tragedy that happened here locally and an acknowledgement of the responsibility that we all have. The rhetoric that we use upon this dais, the rhetoric that we use in conversations in our community. If you believe in peace, then I'm asking the rest of this council here to condemn violence publicly, affirmatively. Now, I had all sorts of grandiose plans to make a written statement, to have a press release, and it doesn't need to be that complicated. We don't need to make a bigger show of this. We all want peace. We all want a safe community to live in. And so if you believe in peace and you condemn the violence and the threats of violence that are happening in this community, I would ask everybody to please bow their heads in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
First, I'll address the topic brought up by Councilman Clement. Let's very clearly establish what seems to be the accepted definition of sanctuary city. This dates back a couple of decades. Sanctuary is not something that just has to do with illegal immigration. You can find sanctuary in a church if you've been charged with a crime. And then there's a certain formality through court. The police just can't go in there and push past the priest. So sanctuary. Sanctuary city, unless it's changed drastically and I'm behind the times, those that have voted to be a sanctuary city are saying, if you've broken the law to come here and we will protect you. If that's still currently the definition, that's not what Joliet is. Joliet is like the rest of the nation, at least the good portion of the nation, the good people. Joliet is a welcoming city to those that come here legally. It is not complicit in illegal activity in any way, not just with immigration, any illegal activity. We do believe in law and order, and we do believe in love and welcoming those that come here legally. Some of the most passionate calls and responses I got during this Joliet Township situation came from children of immigrants or immigrants themselves that came here legally. They were livid. It wasn't just born and bred American citizens. It was naturalized, those that went through the process and said the process does work. I'm proof. What's going on with this? So I think what Councilman Clement is asking, with the definition that I just explained, very simple, on what most people believe sanctuary city means, that, and it's fair to those that do come here illegally to say, well, if we're gonna go somewhere that is sanctuary, or we believe is, we might find some support there, if that's what that community wants. We might find, some sanctuary. Since we are not going to be a sanctuary city, it wouldn't hurt to say publicly, we make no judgments against the cities that have voted to say they are, but we're letting everyone know, including those that would come here illegally and then find no services, because we're not a sanctuary city. That's fair to everyone involved. So I certainly support the councilman's suggestion that we explore that in the legislative committee. With that said, I want to move away from anything that looks political and talk as a dad. Years ago, I went to a particularly personal, back in the 80s, wake, where somebody said something when I was 20 years old, and I'm now 63 years old. Now I'm 60. And I remember it like it was yesterday. The most unnatural thing that any human being can go through is to bury their child. I'm speaking as a dad, not as a councilman. And Hanan Shaheen joined that disgusting club when her little 8-year-old boy was murdered brutally Saturday morning. I don't need to go on and on about this topic. Murder's wrong. Losing a child, going before you as a parent, is so unnatural. The circumstances of Wadi Afal-Yumi's death makes it even more disgusting, if that's possible. He's a little boy. Apparently, I'm finding out he loves soccer and basketball. We've all seen the photo of this cute little boy with his party hat on, right? If you followed the news. He's gone. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. And specifically at this moment, I would like a moment of silence specifically for little Wadi Afluyumi. And we pray for him in whatever faith our hearts hold dear. And to Hanan Shaheen, ma'am, I am so sorry that you're experiencing this in our community. And this is a bigger community than just Joliet. As Councilman Guerrero pointed out, it's just up the road. Actually, it's unincorporated. It's not the village of Plainfield. It's not the city of Joliet. It's unincorporated between the two. It could be either community. It is the larger community. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you both. We all share those sentiments that the world needs hope right now, and hope is fueled by faith. We all look to our faith when times like this hit us, and we really need to find peace in the whole world. The whole world's struggling right now, right here in our community, and I really thank you both for bringing those comments to light. I know that we've been under a lot of struggle with regard to the grant, and I call it the grant that was heard around the county. But there's something we've learned from this experience and the lesson of the grant application. There's a lack of communication to all levels for this grant request. While I've always supported the Will Grundy Medical Clinic for many years, I don't feel they were clear on the total ask of the grant application. And the same may go for the Spanish Community Center. Both organizations are wonderful partners in our community, and I've personally supported them for many years. I will continue to support the good work they do. There have been many Freedom of Information Act requests or FOIAs and narratives of these communications. These FOIA requests have enlightened us as the elected leadership level of the need to create a process for clear communication related to any grant. Cause and effect of any grant request, as well as any partners involved with the request, will be evaluated prior to the grant submission. We have a grant coordinator who should be able to report on grant applications and explain the full impact of all requests to city management and elected officials. We thank the community for coming out together and expressing their concerns about the SMASS grant. And we thank the Joliet Township for hearing those concerns and withdrawing the grant application. I think this is a process of democracy at its best, when the people came and shared their thoughts and everyone listened and did what they were asked. So those are my comments for tonight.
Saturday night, I was invited to Including You Fashion Extravaganza. This was actually honoring Robert Johnson, who was an iconic person in fashion here that used to run fashion and modeling classes out of the Peter Claver Center. And so it was amazing. I sat next to his sister Jennifer while the fashion show was just amazing. I can't even think of any other words for that. I had a really fun time, and Including You does a lot for the community. So all of these fundraisers, they are organizing grant money for the agencies and the nonprofits that really need it the most and that are providing the services. So thank you to Including You. I had an amazing time. Pat Mead is back there. She was one of the organizers and the main people with that. It was just so much fun, so thank you. I also wanted to say, on a really serious note, that my family is a part of a disgusting club that nobody wants to be a part of. My sister-in-law was stabbed to death right down the street from Wadia Al-Fahim, who's 6 years old. These violent acts are so atrocious, unacceptable, inhumane, and just terrible. And I did have media release that of course nobody picked up because nobody wants to hear about peace. They always want to hear about sensationalism, but I'm gonna read it now. A part of it was, I call upon all leaders to champion peace, to engage in constructive dialogue with those that hold opposing views peacefully. It is through this example that we can inspire change at all levels of society, from grassroots movements to international institutions. Together, let us foster a culture of compassion, respect, and nonviolence where individuals can live, work, and thrive without fear. By rejecting violence and threats, we lay the groundwork for a brighter future where conflicts are resolved through understanding, forgiveness, and genuine reconciliation. So maybe that'll make it to the papers. A message of peace, maybe not popular, but maybe right now, if that had been picked up, that message of peace would have resonated a little bit more. So I would like to have a moment of silence for all murder victims and for the young boy, Wahid El-Fahim. Thank you, that concludes my comments.
I'd like to continue on with Councilman Clement's statement on Invest in Kids in Illinois. It is a bill that was passed some years ago to allow donations to be made, tax donations, and allow money to go to non-public schools. There was a group that got together to give all of us information on it a week ago, and there is a number of non-public schools represented there, as well as Catholic schools that were represented. Most of the Midwestern states have passed this law. Illinois was one that had passed it, but they have a sunset clause, and the sunset clause is at the end of this year. That the support, or the anti-support, I guess I say, is the City of Chicago Teachers Union are against it. They want to make sure they can keep as many students in the schools, in their school, as possible. I agree with Joe that it'd be great to have Ryan Quigley come and make a presentation so everyone has better knowledge of what's out there. It's an optional program. You don't have to give money to it. If you feel it would work for you to make a donation, that would be great for the city, I feel, in that respect. On the other hand, this morning I was at an ambassador event that all members of the council and city officials were invited to at the University of St. Francis. St. Francis has had this for a number of years now, giving them a chance to present how great of a four-year university we have here in the city of Joliet, how many individuals that are first-time college students have graduated from there, how well they've done on all national rankings of universities, not just of their size, of all sizes, and it was very well attended, and I want to congratulate them for holding the high standards that they have over the years. My report.
Thank you. Jan?
Okay. Well, we don't have business, new or old business, but this little business under the comments. And since we are interviewing for a permanent city manager, I would ask that this council take into consideration a freeze on filling any new positions, open or otherwise, because when I looked at the budget, we have a lot of open positions. And with a new city manager coming in permanently, they may want to take their own, build their own team. So I don't think it'd be fair for somebody to be hired now and it might not fit the new, whoever that might be, the city manager position. So I would ask that we put a freeze on filling any other position. I discussed this with the mayor. It's not something that I brought up on my own. And I just think it'd be, right now we're in such turmoil, I think we need to get somebody in here that will right the ship and settle things down and start building the team and build us back to the greatness that we have been in the past. And on a lighter note, this Saturday night on the 21st of October, 6 to 9 p.m. is the annual Men Who Cook. It is for the fundraiser for the Will County Children's Advocacy Center put on by State's Attorney Jim Glasgow. It's $40 a tick per person or $75 a couple, and it's held at the Whitendorf Center down on 17840 Laraway Road. It's, if you haven't been there before, it's people that donate, it's men that donate little appetizers or chili or something, and then at the end, people vote on dessert. There's different categories. And if you've never been, it's quite a good entertainment as well and fun. And so if you want to get down there for child advocacy, that's this Saturday night at 6 o'clock. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Can I make a comment now?
Sure.
In regards to the sanctuary city, Larry, you mentioned asking, Councilman, you mentioned what the definition of sanctuary city is and what it's not. I'd like to just put out there that it was put out there to show that we're not gonna use our local resources, our local police to detain and or enforce federal law. We're not, right now we have a shortage on police officers as it is, as a sanctuary city. And I'm not saying this, we're gonna call ourselves a sanctuary city. I'm not saying one way or the other. But to put ourselves to say that we are not a sanctuary city, and I call it on paper, is to say that now our police officers have to, when you pull somebody over for a stoplight, you will ask them their immigration status. You will ask them if they're here legally or if they're not here legally. The purpose of the sanctuary city was basically to not use your local resources to enforce federal law. We don't get in the way of federal law. We cooperate with the federal law when it's needed. But as a sanctuary city, status of what they put out there, which I'm not saying that we're gonna put ourselves as a sanctuary city. Perception is everything. We do have an immigrant community. It was put out there to make people feel safe. If they see a crime, if they see something, they report it without the fear of them themselves not being able, to have any issues. So it was more based and made so that our police officers are being used for our local resources, for our community, and not to start enforcing federal law. And that's more the simplistic way of saying what the meaning of why, and that's why I feel that we shouldn't put an ordinance to say we are not officially, because then I feel that we're gonna start enforcing immigration law through our police officers.
And I appreciate that, Councilman. Thank you. What I will say is, assuming that that's accurate, there's gonna be a lot of different interpretations, right? That's the problem with communication sometimes. That's not what the average person, I don't think that's what the average person trying to enter illegally use it as. They look at it as the bosom of safety. So that's what we have to, where you're communicating against something. If the end product is that people come here and aren't gonna get what they anticipated, and by doing what Councilman Clement said, those same folks would say, well, we're gonna come there, but don't go there, maybe go there. If they have a misunderstanding, then probably 90% of the American public does. So we have to address that, what they think it means versus what one group or another group says it means.
Do you believe that in Joliet, we currently have a large immigrant community, here legally or illegally?
Oh, yeah, I believe that we have a large legal immigrant community, and we certainly, like any community, will have some illegal members of that community.
So do you believe with that same sense of the fear of telling people not to come, of the people that are here, maybe going through the process, maybe doing however they have going on, by doing this doesn't instill fear in our current community that we have here in Joliet?
Well,
so I think it works in both ways.
Right, and I can't speak to the individual, I don't want to pretend and be pretentious like I know what they think, but an intelligent person who's going about it the right way legally has nothing to fear. If they don't understand that, then we need to communicate to them. If they're going through the process legally, like so many immigrants who called me said they did, and are going through now, they have nothing to fear, and they need no sanctuary.
But we all know it's more complicated than that when it comes to our federal immigration laws. Like, we know that. I just think that, again, we just have to tread very lightly and be very careful how we do that for the betterment of our community as a whole. And yeah, I'll just leave it.
No, I understand. But actually, Councilman, to ask a question back to you, I'm curious, because again, we're talking about perception, and that's what, there's a big mountain to climb sometimes. Does someone who, no matter which of the 180 countries or 160 countries in the world they come from, if they come here legally, through legal channels, a legal process, do they need to be concerned with where sanctuary is? The sanctuary is the law at that point, because they're here.
But if they're looking for communities that identify themselves and then report that they are sanctuary cities, we've never done that as Joliet.
Right, we didn't formally say we weren't back in 2016 when we were at the meeting.
So I think if we leave it at that, I think you know, Joe, that's.
But I think what we just displayed, and I hope people are watching, that you can have differing and even sometimes conflicting views and have this kind of a give and take, right?
Yeah, correct.
This is what we need more of, so we don't have more 6-year-old boys being caught in the crossfire. This is great, and I appreciate you opening this conversation with me. Cedar?
Can we move on though now?
Yes, sorry about that. We have a
got
lot to do yet.
Thank you.
There is a request for closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hugg.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Mudron.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried.